We love to connect with you every Saturday morning and share family lessons. Lessons that help us build our homes. Lessons that, if you like, that help us to learn to forgive. And to focus on the very things that are important for our homes to thrive. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. My name is Edem Knight-Tay. And hey, Daniela, it's good to see you. Also for Kojo 1, Pastor Prodis. And Prince, thank you all very much. You all wake up very early just so we can continue to do this. I appreciate you. And I missed these people in the studio. Hello.
Hi.
Hiya. Reverend Osofo Kofi Esquire. I'm the only one who is allowed to be this naughty.
That's right. That's right.
Reverend Kofi Boateng Esquire, good morning to you.
Good morning, Edem. Good morning to the listeners.
And good to see you. It's been a while.
Great to see you too, yes. And I missed coming here.
I know. Ariel, this year, have you been here?
No, I haven't. That's how much you've dogged me.
Are you serious?
I'm serious.
6 whole months.
Yeah, that's how much I've been playing Saturday mornings.
How did we get here?
I don't know. I have to be asking you.
Oh my world. Oh no, this is not good. But good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Charlie, you're giving rich auntie vibes.
Charlie, I've been a rich auntie, you know.
Yeah,
today I want to give you pressure. When you give me pressure, I will say, Edem, today I'm giving you pressure.
I know, where are the children? They should come and line up and collect money from their rich auntie. That's what it has to be. But thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me. Like Osofo says, it's good to be here. I've missed seeing this space.
Good to have you here. So today we have a task on our hands.
Sure.
We're saying that what makes it hard to let go, even when it's not working. And we came by this topic. We tried to make it quite generic so that we can speak largely to it. Okay. But here's how it happened. So we got usually when they call Daniela, then she passes the call on to me. So, we got this young. She's not young. She's like 34 now.
Okay. And
says that they met when they were in level 100. So she went to 100 and the gentleman was in 200, and then they started a relationship. Oh, and they had a lot of promises, like after school we'll do this to get married, we want to have this number of children, build our life together, and it was good. Those vibes you start with when you start a relationship. So that's how it started. And then the gentleman completed, went out, and then she had 1 more year. But by the time she was done, he had traveled abroad because he wanted to go see greener pastures, and they agreed that he was going to be away for just 2 years and come back because he really wanted to set up a business on his own. 1 year led to 2 years, to 3 years, to 4 years, and then 5 years. But eventually he came back after 5 years. And then when he came back, it's like, I need to set up a business. So think about it. She was like 25 already, plus 5 years. That's like, by the time he was coming back, she's like 30. Almost 30.
Wow.
And then said, so I want to set up a business. But she had found a stable job, so she's working and, she's okay. And it's like, okay, fine. You came back with some money, start up the business, and then let's get married, start a family whilst we build it together. The guy says, look, you know how family life can be daunting. I've seen my parents, I've seen other people. You particularly can't want to start a business and start a family at the same time. One will suffer. So indulge me, give me a little time. let me try to lift this off the ground, and then we can now settle. That's gone into another 3 years. And she's beginning to wonder, am I really part of your plans? Am I wasting my time? Because, and she says that, look, Edem, I have to be honest, in this whole period of about 13 or so years that I have been with this gentleman, I mean, I've gone on dates with other people because of the space. Not in any full-blown relationship with anybody, but you have had a need for companionship and acquaintances. So, I mean, she's gone on a few dates, and he knows, they talked, and he also says that, yes, when he was out there, it became a bit necessary. I mean, but then we know that we want to be with each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're here. As we speak, he's gone back abroad. And because it's a business trip today, he's out, today he's in, and business is doing well. Now the conversation is that, look, business is established. Let me finish our home, then we can move in. And her parents have told her that this is not looking good. They call the gentleman, have conversations with her, she herself, and it's like, look, I'm not seeing anybody. It's you. I just need you to be a bit more patient. Now he's suggesting that she freezes her eggs a little.
Oh.
Yes. Because as for that worry there, I will worry you. Like, I will marry you. It's just that let's give it time, because I want to see a few things before I settle. You know how they'll tell you, I don't want my children to suffer, I don't want them to need anything and all that. But they won't suffer. We need to start somehow. And now she feels like I'm beginning to sound like a broken record. It's beginning to look like I am the one forcing you to marry me when you're not ready. The other thing on her mind is, after all these years, do I really want to start over with someone else? Where are we going to start from? What story am I going to tell to say that this is the reason I have waited until 34, going on to 35, and still waiting for, her man to make a decision on her and all that. So she's in a very confused place. She knows that it feels like this thing is really not working, but what do I do? And he's abroad now, and I mean, he's diligent. He'll call you, have conversations with you, make sure he's crediting your account and everything. So, like, you really don't need much. It's just that, why are you not making the decision for us to settle down?
Okay.
And so, and then we looked at it and we're like, look, generally there are lots of situations, not just like this one.
Yes.
You're in a relationship, you know that it be almost like a trauma bonding thing. You know that this thing is not really working, yet you don't know how to come out. You don't know how to stay there, and you are just hanging around and not know. And then time is going, and then people gradually drift into depression that they don't even know. So we want to have the general conversation. Of course, we can look at this one and address it as it is, but generally also look at what makes it so hard. And if you have to make the decision, are there some considerations that we will help people to look out for, to be able to make some of these decisions for their lives? And I do understand that if it's a love relationship, sometimes you, the person talking, you come across like you don't know what you are saying. You don't know how I am feeling. But the right thing's got to be done. So that's going to be our conversation this morning. And Home Affairs is brought to us by Vitamilk, indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. While the show goes on, I'll tell you a bit more about Vitamilk. Adansi at 12. I also have some message from Glyco Travel Insurance. So I will give you all that information while we go on. But once again, I have the wellness coach right here with me in the studio. And then Reverend Kofi Boateng Esquire. God through them, or God through us, will help with some very godly counsel, if you like. You can reach us on 055-1111-997. That's our WhatsApp line. And let's see, we just may be able to activate our phone lines. You want to keep it on speed dial already at 0302-216541. And our WhatsApp is 055-1111-997. So there we go into our conversation. Who will go first? Ladies first. Rich auntie.
Wow, good morning to our lovely listeners once again. Yeah. So I'll start from the story you gave us and just touch on that as to why this young lady is finding herself in this position. So if I look at what the gentleman is doing, he has a history of some fear of family, raising family and some of the consequences he might have gone through being a child. Or if not, he's grown up through some hardship and he wants to, by all means, avoid something like that for himself and his family. So he's being very cautious of prioritizing his future. So he is future oriented and this girl is present oriented, which is a very familiar thing I can relate to. She's thinking about, now I'm here. What are you going to do about what we've been intending to do 14 years ago? Is to come together to live the life you're trying to build alone. You know, so I think the guy has a lot to do with taking care, always thinking about the future. I have to make sure my future is not going to be affected by this, by that, by that. And there are some people like that. They want to take all the marks before they make certain decisions. As to why the girl didn't see this coming is another story. She should have seen in his communication that he looks to go a certain way. Now she's waited all this time and now this guy has kept her 13 years. I think she needs to come to the realization, is this a healthy thing, a healthy relationship I am currently going through, or there's some sort of manipulation? I mean, he has me there. He's giving me money. He's taking care of me, yet he's not committing to a situation where I can boldly say that this is somebody who I am in a marriage with. And for her, time is running, because as women, we have a clock and the clock can be running against you anytime. Sometimes you don't even know when the clock starts going against you as a woman. So she has some biological concerns. She has personal concerns that the guy needs to listen. I would think they should consult maybe a counselor to discuss this together, because the guy may not be hearing what she's saying at all. He's so invested in himself that he's totally not hearing her. So maybe a mediation, somebody stepping in to talk to both of them for the guy to understand what she's saying and where she's coming from, could lead to some result. Because sometimes you'll be talking to someone and they are fully not listening. Active listening is different. He's just always giving you the excuses, the explanation, why. But this lady has a genuine concern. She does. I mean, 14 years. She's 34, 35 now. If she ends this, yes, it's possible she can move on, which I'm going to come to it. She can move on, meet someone, and everything can simply go well again. So there are two things. The longer she's waiting, the longer her time too is running. So the earlier she makes her own decisions as well, the better. But now, let's see, she's invested time, invested emotions, invested so much that the fear of also giving up on all that could be what is holding her. But at some point, she needs to sit up and make one form of decision. But before that decision is made, I think they need to sit with a third person to help them to take things one step at a time, for the guy to see where the lady is coming from. I think he's just too invested in himself.
Okay, great.
Edem, I'm glad I didn't have to talk about the ticking clock matter.
Yeah.
It came from you. So that saves me some stress this morning. Edem, I think I would want us to...
But the guy has got that covered, right? He says that now go and freeze your eggs.
Yeah, but
For what
sometimes
we
you
are
freeze
ready.
and it still doesn't work.
It sounds selfish if you ask me.
Very, very.
Yeah. And I think let's start from trying to define a relationship that's not working.
Okay.
You know, I mean, beyond the context of the story
Yeah.
that you shared.
Yeah.
When we say, because we don't want to give people the impression that, oh, when you have one argument or two in your
Then it means
relationship,
it's
it's not working. You
Yeah.
need to start looking at a way
Yeah.
out. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
So when in a relationship where your life is threatened, maybe in an abusive relationship where the other party is
Yeah.
physically abusive towards you, in a relationship where you have tried so hard to resolve problems and nothing seems to work, there has been family intervention, counselors have come in, and whatever problem there is seems to persist. In a relationship where there are major compatibility issues. For instance, there's sexual compatibility issues. The other person wants things a certain way, or the things that makes you very uncomfortable, for which reason you even dread going to sleep every night. So when you think about all of these things, it means that generally you are very unhappy. The other person is very unrepentant and they consistently betray your trust. They lie and so on and so forth. Things that affect your personal values, which makes you unfulfilled in the relationship. So when these things are happening, then you begin to think about checking out. Now, what is the reason why some people are afraid to leave? For instance, in this case, was it you that mentioned the investment of time and resources and money? There's something called the sunk cost fallacy. You believe that you've spent so much time already. You've spent 5 or how many years?
Yeah, about 13.
Yeah.
13 years of your life waiting, so why check out now? You might as well continue waiting. There's money, there's time, and everybody knows that this is your guy. Or sometimes you have hope that he may change or he may come one day and give you what you want, so you're waiting. And then sometimes it's the guilt of leaving, that, oh, everybody will blame me, that I'm the one who left.
Yeah.
So let me wait a little and see. But ultimately, what I believe is that this gentleman has a fear of commitment. He doesn't see marriage as a priority to him. He wants to eat his cake and have it. For all we know, he has some other relationship somewhere, and because of that, he doesn't want to commit to this one particular person and say we're married. Or for all we know, he really doesn't care about marriage. He doesn't want to be married. And so these are questions that she needs to find out. It may be, if you ask me, I think it may be coming a little too late. She's waited for too long, but she may have to give an ultimatum that, look, dude, if you really want this, if you want us to get married, we have the next 6 months, the next 1 year, because you can't tell somebody to wait for you to go and start a business. The business is started and you're still coming back with excuses.
Yeah.
I think he doesn't want to commit, or he doesn't want the marriage, and she needs to advise herself.
So, I mean, these are cases that, especially if we're dwelling on this, it would have been great if you probably had the two of them and you
And listen to them,
questions.
exactly.
Because then I like the bit about, could be that the person is just afraid to commit
Yes.
because of probably past experiences.
Yes.
And someone could be making him see it differently.
Okay.
Could it also be that this lady hasn't made him see anything different from what he's afraid of?
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been together for so long, and I mean, there's something I'm afraid of.
Edem, why buy the cow if you can get the milk for free? The guy is already, I mean, to him, we are in a relationship. I'm getting everything I want in a relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe the only other thing that marriage will add will be children. And he probably doesn't care about having children with you.
Yeah.
So he doesn't
It's a
see the
hard call,
point.
but like we say, she needs to make a decision somehow, somewhere.
She needs to make a decision. Now, I like the angle Kofi took us about, looking at relationships that are not working.
Yeah.
When do you even begin to say that this
is exactly
not working?
yes.
Is this one of the cases?
Yeah. Largely, it is, because her expectations
It's
are
not working for her.
It's not
Yes.
working for her.
Because she
Yes.
wants more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, you said that the
the
guy is sending money and calling and doing all the things that boyfriends do.
Yeah.
The only thing he's not doing is not committing
Committing.
himself to become a husband.
But
Yeah.
he also hasn't said that he won't commit.
Exactly. But then for how long? Another 10 years? And you know the cost of actually freezing your eggs. Is he willing to pay for it?
Pay.
And what if that doesn't work?
Yeah, so the risk is all on the girl.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He can go out and
is
have children anytime
prioritizing-
later.
He's
as a
totally
man.
prioritizing himself.
Yes.
You know, so the risk is
Himself
all
and
on
his
the girl.
business.
Yes. And it has there are a lot of reasons why he will be doing that. I mean, lots of reasons. And like I'm saying, I'm surprised the girl didn't see this actually
Yes,
coming.
yes.
Because sometimes when you're talking to people, you should be able to pick certain things.
Yes.
And when we are in love, sometimes we think, oh, it's nothing. And then, no, I can't you know, we take certain things lightly.
And then the distance too, maybe having been gone for so long and
Yeah.
living alone, he's gotten used to it
Yeah.
and being able to have his, independence and go out and do things the way he wants. He doesn't see the need to be tied to one woman
Yeah.
and become
certain
your husband
routine,
now.
yeah.
Okay,
You know?
so I mean, the lady just sends a message and says that he's prioritizing his business, and she understands that also because he comes from a very poor background.
Okay.
Like,
I think Ariel alluded to that.
yes, they have they suffer.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
even being in school was
Yeah.
a difficult one for him.
Okay.
So to be successful and not need money
Mm-hmm.
and not have to beg anybody
Yes.
for his needs or the needs of his children
Yes.
is one of the things that one he has said it consistently even when they were casually
Dating.
talking.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But then it's like, okay, now you're taking it overboard.
Yes. Yes.
You are okay.
Yes.
I'm working. You're
Yes,
working. You have
exactly.
your own business.
Exactly.
You are okay. So what are we talking
Yeah.
about again?
Yeah.
What fear is it that you can't let go?
Yes.
You talked about seeing maybe talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Her parents have called him, both parents.
Okay.
And his assurance is that I am it's your daughter I want.
Okay.
Nobody else. I don't have
Yeah.
anybody. I don't intend to start over with anybody else. I just want to get to some point where I feel okay, now we are ready
Okay.
to make this move.
Okay.
But realistically, check.
Yes. Yes.
And he's human, he's not God.
Yes.
What if he wakes up one day and he changes his mind?
Yeah.
Then what?
I'm not sure if the fear of poverty or the unknown is a genuine one.
I don't think so too.
And
So, just reading the lady's next input now, that he's really expressed that he doesn't want any kind of suffering for the future and all that. I think deep down he's not ready to marry. He doesn't want to get married, like Reverend is saying, because sometimes we have deep-seated fears that has
unfounded.
And he might not know that he's made a deep commitment to himself. I'm not going to put anybody through what I went through. So he's playing safe by a deep-seated committed that I'm not going to have children. I'm not going to marry to see a wife struggling or my children struggling. So consciously he's thinking he's going to prevent that by being so focused on the fact that I want to create a business, I want to be successful. But deep down, he's made a commitment to himself. He will not marry.
It
If
could
you
also
ask me.
be as a result of exposure to other people's relationships where he's seeing that, oh, just because this guy got married, things began to go down. Businesses are not
Yeah.
going well, or now they are distracted.
And we hear
But-
that a lot.
Exactly. But I think somebody needs to bring it home to him that sometimes getting married could be the best
The
decision you
blessing.
make,
Yeah.
even when it comes to trying to build your wealth.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
wife could come in and bring stability into your life, stability into your home, give you good ideas, support you emotionally, mentally, and in other ways
And
that
for a
would help
woman-
you.
A woman who has waited for you for so long.
Exactly.
I mean,
she's
harmful could
career
she be?
oriented, she has a
Exactly.
job, she's going to support you. So
Yeah.
why are you afraid of this woman, in quote?
I think people will have to learn to talk about their deep-seated concerns and fears in
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
You know, it just drew my mind to a case that there's this gentleman who was dating another lady and was like, look, I want to marry you.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get married, but we won't have children.
Yeah. Yes.
And he was like, why wouldn't we? As for the why,
Yeah.
he couldn't talk about it. Like, he was so certain that
He doesn't want
he
children.
does not want to have children.
Yes.
Hey, that's him. And he's a good guy.
Yes.
So this lady, like, I'm also in love with you and everything.
Yeah.
But why? Why? So they went on and on and on and on and on. But she agreed to still
Yeah.
marry him.
Yeah.
And then they agreed that they were going to adopt some very healthy children.
Sure. Was this in Ghana?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, so
Because
he
you
can
know,
live with
elsewhere-
children,
Let
but
me-
he doesn't want his own.
Let me finish.
Okay.
So it was only after they got married, because I want you to understand that I will not have children, so that tomorrow you won't come and start pushing.
Yeah.
Do you agree? Yes. They got married, adopted the babies, got to a certain age, and then he decided to tell his wife why. And
Okay.
these are his reasons. So he had he ever had a younger sibling
Mm-hmm.
who was was on the spectrum, was a child with special needs.
Okay.
And he said he saw how the boy suffered, how his parents suffered,
Yeah.
to the extent that his parents, the marriage, like, broke off.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
because of that
Yes.
situation, until the boy passed on.
Oh.
And he mentioned, he said, after I had a word with him, I had opportunity. He said he could hear his mother, whenever his mother is praying, the mother
Yeah.
prays that he's praying that the boy dies before the mother.
Wow.
Because when she dies and leaves him, who will take care of him?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that got stuck in his head, and
Yeah.
he's thinking that this probably could be in our
Genetic.
line.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I do not want
Want.
anybody to suffer that on my account.
Sure.
So he made that decision
Sure.
and decided to stand by it.
Okay.
And I asked, so why didn't you tell her this is your? He says, I just wanted whoever will accept to be with me to accept.
Yeah.
Don't do it
Yeah.
because you're pitying me.
Yeah.
Do it because this is what I have said, and believe that I have my reasons for saying it. And if it's okay by you,
Trust me.
we get married.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the lady became calm, understood. But whatever it is, the decision had been made.
Yes.
She had agreed to be married,
Yes.
be happy. They had adopted about 2 children they were taking care of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were both
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know. So sometimes I'm sure this gentleman, there's something in his head.
Yeah.
Like I said, yeah.
There's something in
Deep,
his
deep,
head.
deep there.
Yeah.
And it would be great, especially for this one, it would be great if he is talking about it.
Yes.
So that the lady can make an informed decision. But beyond these 2 people, I want us to look at some other situations
Okay.
that people should be mindful of. And for you to be able to realize that this relationship you're in, you're just hanging on. Sometimes you will end up in marriage,
Yeah.
and you would realize that I should have taken the not working from the beginning before entering the marriage. So I want us to explore some of those other situations that one could sit back and tell themselves that, look, this relationship is not working.
Yeah.
And I have to look at it. And I also want to find out from us, if we establish that it is not working, is the only answer exit it? Yeah, I want us to look at that. And one of the, Kofi mentioned one, which is when you feel like your life is being threatened in a relationship. Now, I want us to look at what are some of the life-threatening situations
Yes.
that can occur in a relationship, for which reason people should know that
It's
this
time to move on.
Yeah, or to look at it differently if you don't want to move on.
Yeah.
Especially so if you have issues of time. You have invested so much time, you feel like me in Hong Kong and we will die here. So that's where I want us to go.
Excuse me.
I know who would want to lead us into that. Ariel.
You said 3 things. Okay, so how to establish that this is not working. And you need to start making the next, powerful decisions for yourself.
Yeah.
Any form of abuse is unacceptable. Any form of abuse. And abuse means it's consistent. It's happening all the time.
Yeah.
Not just once, not twice, but for years, the same pattern continues to happen. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be financial abuse, it could be social abuse, it could be I mentioned financial. Any form of abuse that is consistent. Sexual abuse that restrains you from fully being yourself, and you know that by your values, this is not making you live authentically with yourself. Every time you see this guy, you panic, you feel uncomfortable because either you are going to say something and it's not how to say it. Everything you do about this, around this person or this lady, it's vice versa. It's wahala. It is unacceptable. It is a matter for you to step back, regardless of how many years you've been in that relationship, to start assessing yourself. First, you need to ask yourself, why am I still there? If it's not working, if it's giving me this vibe, if I know, and 90% of the time we think, okay, he will change. I can change him. He will change. We think having that wish, it's like a wish that this person will change. But there's this slim thing, the small thing between knowing somebody who will change and somebody who is pathetically the way they are. They are not even seeing themselves. So any form of abuse, anything in a relationship that is constant, that makes you unsure of yourself, uncomfortable around the person, unhappy most of the time. Anytime you leave the person's space, you are drained. Every time you meet, there's going to be one fight over a pen, over a socks. You know, it is time to start asking yourself good questions. Why are you still compromising in that relationship?
And I want us to answer that question now. Why do people still compromise?
Okay.
Why are you still there? And you talked about the fact that this should have happened over a period. So 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah.
You've spoken about it. They're not changing, or quite often they will give you all the assurance that look, I apologize, I'm sorry, this won't happen again. Give it 2 weeks, 1 month, it's happening again and again and again. Why do people continue to stay?
The first one is fear of loneliness.
Okay.
The second is there's an emotional attachment there. And we are comfortable with the familiar. So I'm attached to this person. To disconnect and go and start all over again seems to be, to be more work than compromising and working and trying to still hang around. Now, when you've been in an unhealthy relationship, somehow you start losing yourself. So the more you are losing your self-esteem too, the more you think somebody will not value you if you don't, you leave this one. Because it's like, okay, he knows me, he said he loves me. But you know that this thing is still not giving you the feeling or the well-being you know you deserve. So there's a loss of self. You're losing yourself because every time you keep not seeing where is this thing. The person is like that. This current conversation we had, this person is not hearing you. So you start losing the trust or the truth you are sharing because is it really me? Am I saying the right thing? Then I think the last one is a trauma and manipulation. Most of the time in such relationship, there's some form of manipulation going on because it suits one person and it doesn't suit the other person. So you have to be able to identify the abuse and the manipulation that is going on and start saying that, okay, these are the things that I think are making me afraid to take the next step and accept that, yes, I have this problem. 90% of the time, once you accept that, yes, these are the things I am dealing with, you'll be able to take the next step, either seeking some help or talking to someone and trying to see, how do I work on myself to get over the fear of loneliness, to get over the hope of changing him, to get over his manipulation, to really know that I can start again. And I'm here.
Why is it his,
Okay,
he?
she.
Say there.
There. You know, because we started with the first conversation.
Oh, Lord. Of course.
I did say it can be vice versa.
I'm here for the men.
No, I know, right?
Seriously, some women can traumatize
I
you.
know.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, I know.
Men have lost themselves because of women.
Exactly.
You know. So I think this is a very big conversation. As we progress, I'm taking notes. So my first question was some of the ways we can tell that a relationship is not working.
Yeah.
And Ariel just mentioned, I mean, Kofi had mentioned that earlier about abuse,
Yeah.
you know, and any form of abuse at all. Now, right after that, I went on to ask her, and she talked about the fact that, I mean, people still stay. Why?
Yeah.
Now, we've gone through all of these, you know.
And then there's another one. You know, sometimes the other party has physically and emotionally moved on. They've checked out emotionally. They don't care about you anymore. They don't care about your well-being. And they've even told you that they don't want you.
And you're still there.
And you're still there. Or physically they're engaged, or they've moved on with someone else, which you know about.
Yeah.
They're not even hiding it.
Yeah. But you know what just came to my mind? This can be in two contexts. It could be in a marriage situation,
Yes,
and
yes.
it could be in a dating
Yes,
situation.
yes.
So in a marriage situation, I think some of the practical barriers are financial dependence, you know.
Yes, yeah.
You are dependent on this person for certain financial support and arrangements, and maybe you are afraid that if I leave, I won't be able to continue in that same stability for myself alone, and so you keep staying and trying to let it work. And then there are children and custody issues. If it's in the context of marriage, you have children and you don't want them to go through this whole divorce thing, and then you think people will feel you are retaliating because the man has done something or the woman did something. And shame and stigma is another reason why lots of us stay in unhealthy relationship when we know it's not working. We are ashamed that if I lived, then I didn't do well, or there's something around me. I mean, you get to meet people and they always think, what happened? What did you do? I mean, you are
None of
beautiful.
your business.
You know? Yes. You every new relationship you are going to go into, it looks like they want to do a background check, sort of. And then familiarity and routine. You are familiar with the whole marriage or the whole thing, and so you kind of feel, okay, it will be changing, and it's not changing. So it's in two contexts. It could be just dating and it could be marriage. Yeah.
In fact, sorry, in fact, even, I mean, all of it can still work even when you're not married.
Yeah.
There are people who are not married but have children together.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I move on, then what happens to the children?
Yes,
It becomes a whole issue. It could work for both boxes,
Yeah.
It
honestly.
does.
Yes.
So,
also-
no, I was going to add that sometimes we also hold on to family values, cultural values, and even spiritual values. I mean, your family members will tell you that, hey, you know, as for our family, we don't divorce
true.
or we don't leave marriages. Look at your mother, look at your grandmother. This is what they went through.
Yeah.
Or you're a Christian and you believe that you should not divorce, and so you're enduring all kinds of pain and hardships in your relationship, and you think that it's against your Christian principles not to walk away. Or, as Ariel rightly pointed out, the culture. You know, how is the community going to see you as a divorced mother, as a divorced father? And so you're doing everything to make it work, even though you know that it is so clear that it is not working. It's done, you know, but you're still there.
Great. So would we say that, I mean, if you are in a relationship and you have recurring conflicts, that, I mean, you're struggling to get the other person to understand you. Every time you need to have a conversation or something, it ends up in conflict. You need to make a decision, it ends up in conflict. You're hardly seeing eye to eye with each other.
Yeah.
Is that a relationship you can describe as not working?
It depends on how that affects you, how that affects your well-being. If it makes you so unhappy, it makes you so depressed, it makes you dread even being in the relationship or being in the same room with that person, then obviously that's very unhealthy for you, and we could say that relationship is not working.
It's not working.
Yeah.
I think 99% of the time, everybody knows when they don't like something. You don't like it. And you know that what is going on in this, relationship, you don't like it. People know that they don't like what is going on. It is the steps to take to make the decisions and walk through their decisions that keeps them there. So they know. If you don't like a certain food, you eat once, you know, I don't like this thing. So it
But
comes.
you don't have a choice and you're hungry, and that's all there is.
But sometimes that's not all there is. And delay people.
That's deep.
It's a buffet. It's a buffet.
You haven't seen poverty before.
It's a buffet. It's a buffet.
There are people who never want to eat gari.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have no choice.
Choice,
All
yes.
there is for you to eat this
And you
gari.
eat it raw.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, you don't even have water, so you have to just chew it like that.
Yeah.
Those situations are there.
But
And-
if you underappreciate yourself, you will chew the gari. If you appreciate yourself, you also look at what are my options here? What can I do to maximize my potential so I don't chew the gari? I think it comes back to self-referral, because if something is not working for you, you have to have some autonomy in yourself to make a valuable decision that you know that I have what it takes to go forward because I have something. So underappreciating ourselves and what we can do is also one of the things we need to start talking about. People underappreciate themselves. They think, I won't be okay. I can't do this. But if somebody has done it before, you can also do it. I think we need to build a bit resilience. Building resilience mentally, emotionally is the work we need to do. So when we are making decisions, it's not so much about the bad consequences. It could also go good if you make some hard, tough decisions. Yeah. So
And then
I think,
yeah, please go ahead.
I think it should not always be about walking away from one person into the arms of the other. Sometimes you simply need to get away to protect your own sanity and to protect your own life. It is not all about what else is out there for you.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so the notion that, oh, if I go now, there will be somebody else, or there are more men or lots of women out there that I can select from, you may only end up falling into another dangerous or unfulfilled relationship.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah, you're very right. And especially so when you go in with that intention.
yes,
Because whoever
you
you
get
are
into a
going-
rebound.
Yeah, the person is not God, you
Yes.
see. Now, so I was going through a few things. Okay, so that if you are in a relationship where the conflict is recurring and it makes you consistently
Sure.
unhappy,
Yes.
and it doesn't make you see light at the end of the tunnel in that relationship, then you could be in a relationship that's not really working.
And then what is the conflict about? Is it about hair on the sink or an untidy kitchen? You know, some of these things can really get to you, but sometimes there are more problems that you would consider to be major. You know, if there's unfaithfulness or somebody has some behavioral problems, they are gambling or substance abuse consistently, and you've tried everything. Of course, somebody who's always gambling will be spending the family's finances on gambling and can't account for money, and the family is always broke and there's problems. Meanwhile, there's money that is coming in. So these I would consider major. But little things like, oh, you left your socks you always leave your socks on the floor and you don't clean the dishes when you eat. I believe these are things that we can live with. Yeah, I know. It's relative, I get it.
Exactly.
But these things won't kill you. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, they won't kill you,
Yeah.
but it can make you
it
resentful.
can get on your nerves. I get it.
Our
Yes.
environment actually also impacts our well-being.
Yeah.
And if just the spaces alone is what is always the cause for irritation, it's also impacting your mental and emotional well-being. Every time you are stressed, because when you tidy up this place, this person throw papers and socks and everything there. And the sad part is, if you're picking after them and they are also upset that why did I put it here and you take it, that even worsens the situation. Yeah, why do you take it from where I think I will find it? You know,
they are cleaning after you.
So we'll get divorced over socks in the wrong place.
You see, so environment is crucial to well-being.
Yeah.
Very, very crucial.
I mean, so that's what I was saying, that sometimes it can make you resent the other person.
Yes.
Why are
'Cause they
you
don't
always
listen to
like
you.
this?
Yeah. Yes.
Why can't you just do
And you
this
feel
less-
disrespected.
Exactly. And look, you keep doing it. You're upset with them. You're resenting them. How do you now continue to build intimacy with
Yes,
this person?
yes.
It can go on and on and
Yeah.
on, and before you realize, you have broken a good part of the relationship.
That is true.
So, I mean, also for coffee,
Yeah.
instead of us probably saying that, look, these are things we can live with,
Yes.
I think it should be, these are things that we all should be
Mindful.
agreeing to work through.
Exactly.
You see?
And that's where emotional maturity comes in.
Exactly. You should work through it
Trying
and not say,
to-
oh, but it's just a
It's
song.
nothing,
And
yeah.
you keep doing it all
Yeah.
the time. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'll pick it. I'm not going. I'm not saying I'm getting divorced over this.
Yeah.
But over time, I don't. I'm resenting you.
Yeah,
I don't.
I think I mentioned emotional
Yeah.
maturity because you get to a point where you need to learn to pick your fights and say that, you know what, these things are trivial. I can overlook them. It much as it hurts you and it upsets you and it makes you resent the other person.
Yeah.
You can train yourself to say that, look, I'm not going to let this bother me anymore
Yeah.
because it really doesn't cause that much harm to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You
could
know,
get to
so
that.
you pick your fights
and it depends
carefully
on
and-
what you're using as your anchor to let go of these ones.
Okay.
You know, maybe you've married this person you have 3 children, you've been in this for 10 years, and these are the trivial issues, let's use the word. And so you get to the point and say, hey, Kwesi, they say, yeah, I just know Kwesi is
Exactly.
like this. That's okay. I will manage this area. I will get help and make
To
sure that every
acceptance.
day, accepting that this is Kwesi. Kwesi, he's not even seeing that what he's doing, it's impacting my health and my well-being. But we've invested in ourselves for so long. I mean, this marriage has all the other things going well, or this relationship has all the, so I'll make peace with it and find a way around it. That is also equally possible, and it's a choice. Once you make that choice, you need to be at peace with it. That's the other thing. You can't make the choice and every day be hoping Kwesi will change. You have to make the choice and accept that Kwesi will never change. This is it.
Ama will change.
Ama will change. This is it. Ama will never change.
And then-
This is it.
But you also have to look within and look at your own faults that your
Exactly.
other,
You
your
also have
partner or your
something.
spouse
Yeah.
is dealing with. You know, I think once you start doing that kind of introspection, it makes it easier for you to forgive and accept the faults of the other person.
Yeah, I think, look, these things we just have to, and I agree when you say that it comes with a lot of emotional maturity, because at some point in your life, here's what you do: you decide that I want to focus on your strengths
Yes.
and just put the weaknesses behind
Behind,
it.
Exactly.
yeah.
You know, what are these person's strengths? What do they do to me?
Yeah.
How does it make this relationship better?
Yes.
And then you give a lot of energy to their good side, their strengths,
Exactly.
and then see how.
He's a good dad. He takes care of the home.
Yeah.
He supports you everywhere. But he leaves his socks around.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need to know what anchors you. That is good.
Yeah.
And then you give up on what you can. Rightly know that it's not going to ever change.
and you don't accept to be in it, and then start putting pressure for change. That one you go.
Yeah,
you
you will
expect
suffer for a long time.
Okay.
Because no one has a perfect relationship, let's face it.
No.
Okay, please, I'll get back to you on that. Hey, what happened to my... Oh, dear Lord. Pastor Produce, you want to come and have a look at this for me. So, if you're just joining us, sorry you are a bit late, but we still have some time to go. And we've been looking at And what makes it hard for people to let go, even when it's not working? We started by looking at, a story from this young lady who's been in a relationship, young girl, somebody's young, fine girl. You went to university, saw this dashing young one. Hey, I like to be with you. And then they agreed to be together. And it's been like that. Charlie, this one, you have gotten a first degree, you've gotten a master's degree, and you probably have gotten what? a PhD.
A PhD in long suffering.
In looking forward to marriage. Charlie, that's a very tough one. So we looked at that, and we've diagnosed the situation in a lot of ways, and that has dovetailed into a bigger conversation, and we are looking at some of the things that you could encounter in your relationship or your marriage that would simply make you realize that this is not working. It's time to sit up and have very hard conversations around it, so you move it into the next step. And some of the things I noted, and especially so when I asked why do people still remain there? You know that you're in an abusive relationship. You have gotten to realize that the relationship, you're incompatible, your thoughts are not together. For instance, in the first case, we'll say that they're not thinking alike. Okay, they're not thinking alike. You have come to realize that you're dealing with too many conflicts. You're not seeing eye to eye with each other. You have financial issues that you guys are not just able to work through. So you get to the point where you realize that you're living separate lives, yet you're in a relationship. Outrightly, you should know that these relationships are not working. But question is, why are you still there?
Yeah.
Why are you still there? And we looked at that. We said that it's the fear of being alone. I don't want to be alone, and when I leave, all of a sudden, yes, I'll be lonely. So because of that, let me endure. You're there, you're unhappy, and you're making the person unhappy. Every day you are fighting. It's one of the reasons. Emotional attachment. So you're so emotionally attached to this person, you're not sure how it will be if you want to move on and go on to the next person. You get to lose your self-worth because you stayed there for so long, and you feel like, look, he or she they are the only people who can accept me, and so I end up staying here. Or you're hoping that someday, somehow,
change will
by
come.
God's intervention, by kabaying and everything, and hoping they will change. But sometimes they really never change. It'll just be like you're trying to wake somebody who is pretending to be asleep up. How do you do that? And then we also talked about trauma and manipulation. So the other person is enjoying what you are to them. And so they continue to manipulate you in that direction. And sometimes they manipulate you in such a way that you're enjoying it. You enjoy the manipulation.
It's working.
Exactly. And then sometimes it's financial independence. Sometimes you're looking at children and custody issues. Shame and stigmatization is one of them. We talked about familiarity and routine. I don't want to change. I want to remain on this path. And you hear the world telling you a lot of things. Baby, I enjoy it. Nowhere cool. Are you sure what you're going to meet next? And all that. So you go through all of these things and you feel like, you know what? Let me just take it like that. If you take it like that, and Ariel said, you take it like that, and you decide that I want to stay by this decision, I am taking it like that and I am living by it and I can make peace with it, that's okay. But you don't say that I am taking it like that and every day you are still fighting to change it. That's you confusing yourself in a lot of ways, And one caution that Reverend Kofi Boateng gave that, I think is really very important is for you not to think that you want to leave simply because there's somebody out there to make your life better. Shouldn't always be like that. Yes, it's possible that if it's not working and you step out, you could step into a better relationship. But it's also possible that you may not. And so the work starts with you. And we'll go into that. So I've realized that these are the reasons I'm still staying in this bad relationship or this relationship that's not working. So what do I do? What do I do? Because here's the person, we're looking at this person, for instance, this lady who wrote to us, who has come to realize that I'm very confused. Hers is a place of confusion. Do I wait? Do I not wait? He's showing me signs that he cares, but it's been 13 years. what if I wait on ends? What if he never comes around to give me what I want, which is marriage and stability, family, and all that? But then he still continues to care. Somebody will tell you, you may go into a relationship and get the marriage and everything, but you never have your peace of mind. So how about that? So in a case where the person has realized all of these, but they are confused, what do you do? In another case where the person has realized all of these and has realized that, look, I need to make a move, but they are not sure how to make that move, what do they do? And that's the next leg of the conversation. We are going to be right back to continue.
Hello, Ohima. Eti saying.
Ayo.
Na edahin.
Mikotade.
Edi bensa.
Krachi. Obesuja na se obehwemkwem.
Oh, na se jane de wo so ayeden kwan de obehwem kakra.
Anyway, mikope vitamin B de adwodwomakoma.
What a coincidence. Miso no na mekoto, eno na me no.
Hey bra, we de wo boa.
Oh, ahon fe minti ntwa wontro.
Sewara.
Ha, Vitamilk no emu de he pa na we ni je ho.
Me pe Vitamilk banana any choco because I'm black and proud.
Hey, interesting. Me dey me a regular guy oh. So wow.
When you kapao.
So wow. I can see we have something in common. Ohima, yanko ni yanko try a Vitamilk connection. Wo de bo me kana metia. Anye bia se kwan da ho.
E kwan be.
Aha, na muni brebi. Vitamilk di foforo bia be kambusua ne ho ye friend of Vitamilk strawberry. Vitamilk feels good anywhere anytime. This advert is FDA approved.
For 11 years, we've taken you beyond borders. For 11 years, we've delivered memorable travel experiences. Now, it's time to see more and feel more with Adansi Travels at 12. 12 times the fun, 12 times the excitement. This August, explore the best of Europe, the UK, Dubai, Turkey, Singapore, Malaysia, Johannesburg, and beyond. With a team dedicated to your travel dreams, every journey is carefully crafted to leave you with unforgettable memories. Your journey with Adansi Travels is more than a trip. It's your chance to see more, feel more, and discover the world in a whole new way. Don't just stamp your passport, stamp it with incredible experiences. Call 0595 500 817 or 0531 008 550 or visit AdansiTravels.com to book your spot. Adansi at 12. See more, feel more.
Thank you very much for staying with us. This is Home Affairs. Let me go through some of your messages now. The girl is rather delaying her clock. She should move on because the guy is not ready to settle with her. And it's either he's seen or with another person and pretending not to. The excuses and explanations are many and she should move on with her life. It's not that easy. If you're following the conversation we're having, then you would know that, you don't just get up and pack your bags and say that after 13 or 14 years of being in a relationship, I just carry my back and it's that easy. I've walked out. Chale, enough from sir. And here's wishing a happy 60th birthday to Auntie Julie from your children and grandchildren. This is from Ebu, Ife, Kwansima, Ekua, Pakwisi, Baby Same, Mildred, and Cruz Adepa, Kaka, K, and the boss, Mikweku. Happy birthday to you, Auntie Juliana Abano of Kaswa. Oh dear, somebody says that is like a Jacob and Rahel situation. So this one says, Edem, this is me, pa, concerning putting things anyhow. My husband was complaining, but I realized that he doesn't complain anymore, but will just arrange and put it at the right place. He will say, me too, when they shed, this is what I got. But I'm much better than it used to be. We have been married for almost 20 years. He's my world. We love to hear that. But try. Oh.
Yeah.
She can't help it.
No, she should try. She can do it. Oh.
Just being a bit conscious. She can do it.
Try. You have tried for this man to carry it as a cross. Help him bear it. Okay, someone says that we're being biased because we're using men as examples. We apologize for that. So someone says that we're not dealing with the issues. Edem, there is one thing you guys are not addressing. The relationship isn't working, but I can't leave because of the mental effect it will have on the children. Something that the effect is very long term and more often than not irreparable. For me, my children's mental sanity is my prime concern. It makes that sacrifice for them no matter what. This is another conversation we can go into, right?
And then we talked about cultural values and
Yes.
family and spiritual values.
Yes.
This falls under that.
Yes, and apart from that, Kofi, there are times that you can choose to stay in a relationship and think that you're doing it for your
the children.
But at the end of the day, you're building something else in their head.
Yeah.
You know, they're looking at all the
Negative things
that is
that you're
happening
enduring.
that you are enduring. They see that
And they think
you're
it's
not happy.
acceptable to.
Exactly. They see the distance between you and your spouse. And look, sometimes why don't you rather?
And they may decide not to ever get married because they saw
Yeah.
what you're going through.
Exactly.
And some of them get married, but the patterns they pick make them go through the same stories you're going through. You know, so there's a need to do your part and then help the children to navigate their mental health issues. Seek support. There are a lot of professionals out there. I think we underestimate the professionals we have here in Ghana who can help us through such situations. People don't seek the right support.
I'm not sure your children want to see you.
No, not at all. Not at all. I had a client whose daughter kept telling her, Mommy, let's leave. Mommy, you have to leave. Mommy,
Why
you
are
know,
you
her
still here?
daughter is just 14 and she's saying this to you. And you are thinking her mental health. So it is valid that it will affect their mental health. But the chances are it will affect them worse if you stay than if you take proactive steps to do the right thing and help them so you both become better in the future.
Exactly. So I don't think that we're here and, propounding that people should leave.
Yeah.
Instead of staying unhappy, instead of carrying it as a cross, why don't you rather make the effort to make it work?
Yes.
I mean, that's what I will say. you have chosen to stay, so you will stay.
Yeah.
Stay, you will.
Yeah.
Now that's the next leg of conversation. People have chosen to still stay, so it means that there's still something you can work with.
Yes.
So isn't it possible to work and make it properly work because you're in there,
Yeah.
other than staying there and saying that it's not working, but I'm just choosing to be here, I'm not happy, I wish I was not with you, but because of the children I will just sacrifice and just be there, and the children are seeing that we're living in a toxic home,
Yeah.
and your sacrifice is that I'll stay in the toxicity
Because of
and
the children.
No. So rather than just staying and not making it work, why don't we try to make it work? That's what I
Yeah.
will say though.
And not just endure the relationship.
Yeah, and it starts. So if you want to stay, then you need to build some healthy boundaries, so that the consistency of the conflicts are also reduced.
Yeah.
You need to build some healthy boundaries, put in some conversation structures, know what, when, and how you bring up certain things in front of the children. So you have to now be more proactive to protect things that will not escalate the situation. And it starts with you being mindful of the boundaries you set for the relationship. Physically, emotionally. You know very well that if you tell this guy the fridge is spoiled, so I need man, this is what he will do in this instance. You have to now know the person more than you know yourself, in order not to give them the fuel to do the things that they do to create an unhealthy situation. So boundaries is the first way. If you keep staying in such a relationship, you need to know how to set boundaries.
And one good boundary is you slap me again, I leave, or I call the police.
It's
I go and report
ultimatums. You need to put in certain ultimatums for the person to know there's going to be a consequence if you do this. Yeah.
Will this not be affecting the children negatively if there are children?
But it
You're
depends on
creating-
how you communicate your boundaries.
You're creating boundaries. It means that there are lines that you won't allow your partner to cross, and there are lines you won't cross. And sometimes, trust me, those lines are very visible. Sometimes they're depending on the magnitude of the situation you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Those lines could be very visible. And if they are, then what? The children
Adam,
are still
I think
seeing.
it's okay that the children know
Knows,
that nobody
yeah.
should suffer an abusive relationship.
yeah.
So that one day, if they also get into a relationship and there's abuse, they would know to run. And not wait to be
set
killed.
boundaries, to communicate, to speak up.
People have
Make
died
it
in
work.
abusive relationships. Adam,
If you
It takes two. When it's a relationship, it takes the two to make it work.
If you
Yeah.
choose to stay, make it work.
But if the other person don't see what you are seeing as a problem, then it's left with only you to make it work. And only you making it work means setting boundaries. Because if not, you go over yourself. You can't go on like that. It takes two. The other person also needs to agree. Okay, yes, like this lady who said, "Oh, I throw my things around," and my husband, she's agreed that she does something. But when the other party is like, "I have done nothing," what you're saying is not how I think this is. Then it's you and you alone.
Yeah.
To address, I think your earlier question about what can be done.
Yeah.
Some people are in denial.
Yeah.
Their problems are there, but they don't even want to know,
Yeah.
they don't want to see it. One of the things you can do is to document how the issues make you feel.
Okay.
And that will help you to overcome the denial, because once you start listing how unhappy this is making you feel, how scared you are, how unfulfilled, how your growth is stifled, and all of these things, it will begin to give you a sense of how critical the situation is, and I think that will inform you on what steps to take. And then when it comes to the issue of low self-esteem and the fear of the unknown, you don't want to go because you don't know what else is out there and nobody else will want me. Sometimes what you can do is to start withdrawing gradually and try to build self-confidence, and then at some point you realize that maybe you can still survive on your own out there.
That is if you have made up your mind that, look, I need to leave.
Yes.
That if you have made up your mind.
Yes.
That you
That
need
is
to
that
leave.
is if you have established that the relationship is not working.
And your resolve is that, we've talked about the fact that
Mhm.
you could establish that it's not working.
Yes.
But your
Stay.
resolve is that I am confused.
Yes,
I don't know
yes.
whether I want to leave or,
Or not, yes.
That's when the boundaries come in, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But if your resolve is, look, this thing is not working, and I know that I need to leave.
Yeah.
However, my problem now is fear of the unknown.
Yes.
And how
yes.
to make the move.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And I think we established what it means when we say that the relationship is not working.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I talked about a situation where the other person has even moved on.
Exactly.
You know, is seeing someone else, and you're sitting
And
there
in your
waiting.
face.
Yeah, exactly.
Hoping they will see you.
But God
I
is
think,
a miracle working God.
Yeah, and another thing is that we need to focus on our own growth. Because what Reverend is saying about you need to work on taking the steps and all, it's all about personal development. It's all about self-care. It's all about building yourself so you are stronger than the abuser. But the fear that we don't have what it takes is most of the time what even makes us not take the steps of making the decision that, okay, this is what I want to do, so this is what I'll start doing. We think we don't have what it takes to move forward. We undervalue ourselves. We don't know our worth. We think we are not worthy without them or whoever it is. So the work starts with you building yourself, developing yourself mentally, emotionally, psychologically, professionally, just building you. That is where the resilience will come from.
Let me share a story with you. So there's this lady I know. She's Mrs. Something.
Yeah.
And she still bears the husband's name, right?
Okay.
But when you call her Mrs. That, hey, Radi Yesu, she's so upset.
Oh wow.
And
they're still married.
They're married. They're still bearing the man's name, but don't call me the name with the Mrs. And you're wondering, sister, which one is your own? That's how people can still choose to be there, resenting the person.
Yes.
But like that one, I think is a very big. You're bearing the person's name, and you can't stand being called Mrs.
Whatever.
Mrs. Kweku.
Yeah.
So why are you there?
Exactly.
All the energy on trying to let the person change, let the person become better, working on the relation. You can spend some of the energy to work on yourself and build yourself. Start finding your values. Why do I want to be happy? What do I want to do? Start doing the things you want, making some autonomous decisions and building who you truly know you are. That is the only path you can take to get to the point and know that I'm confident. Reverend mentioned confidence. I'm confident in who I am, and so I can go forward. Because the thing is, everybody will experience some form of fear, some form of discomfort to go to an unknown place. But to go to the unknown place, it means you have to work in that terrain to know how it feels to go there. And that is working on yourself to feel that discomfort.
I think we should be having a second leg to this conversation, which is making it work.
And then you are still on making it work.
Yes. See, Ariel and Asafo Kofi, you look, nobody wants to go into a relationship or be married, and then tomorrow we're running out of it.
Yes.
We're looking for escape, route out of the relationship. I'm sure if everybody knew how to make things work, we will make it work.
I think we spoke about some of it.
Yes.
We talked about picking your fights carefully and learning what to ignore and what to focus your energies on.
We need to have a big conversation on
definitely.
simply
making it work.
Seriously.
Alone,
Okay.
yes.
Yes, making it work, because we wish that we were making it work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we need to look at, I want us to have a very positive conversation
on making it
so
work.
that when we have the positive conversation, at that point we will say that choose you this day whom you want. After we have had that positive conversation, right, then it is, look, we know that the challenges are there, but we have actually had conversations on how to navigate the challenges and still make it work between the two of you and still be happy. Now, if after by the grace of God is able to help us to have that conversation. Now we've laid down something very beautiful. You can always pick that manual and go through it, and I'm sure that the principles will be the same, and you can apply the principles to your situation.
Yes.
Especially if you want to make it
Work. Yes.
If you don't want to make it work, that's your own.
Yes.
But if you want to make it work, we believe that there are some principles that you must follow. And if you both are committed to making it work, you can always make it work.
It
no matter
takes
the-
two to
It
make it
takes
work.
two. I said it. It takes two.
It takes two.
It takes two. It can work.
Now, the joy of every parent is to see their children work. Is to see their children grow healthy and become more intelligent and physically fit. And to achieve this desire, every parent needs to ensure that their children are given nutritious foods that has the essential nutrients that can promote their well-being. And we're talking about the Vitamilk soy milk drink. It is made from whole grain soybean, which is a good source of plant protein, and it is enriched in omega-3, 6, and 9. It has calcium and all the essential nutrients recommended for your daily living. It has no coloring, no artificial flavorings, and no preservatives. So why don't you go on and choose the Vitamilk Champ for your children, because the protein, calcium, and omega-3, 6, and 9 in there have all proven to help your adorable children grow smarter, healthier, and stronger every day. Vitamilk also comes in a regular soy milk drink. You can have it in the energy booster with no caffeine, the choco, the flavors. Also, you have it in choco, in banana, and the strawberry. And it is packaged in 250 ml and 1 liter Tetra Pak. Vitamilk is indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. And yes, this August, Adansi Travels is turning up the excitement as part of its 12 years of delivering unforgettable travel experiences. So get ready to see more, feel more, and explore some of the world's most exciting destinations, from fun-filled family adventures in Dubai to romantic getaways in Asia, thrilling escapes with friends in South Africa, or that long-awaited dream trip across Europe. It's not just travel, it's an experience you'll never forget. Call Adansi Travels on 0595500817 or 0531008550. Visit adansitravels.com to book your spot now. Let's make memories together this August. Adansi at 12. See more, feel more. And are you planning a trip abroad? Don't wait until you're stranded in a foreign country. Get covered with Glyco travel insurance before you fly. From medical emergencies and flight delays to loss of luggage, Glyco has you covered every step of the way. Visit any Glyco branch or call 0555-305547. Travel smart, travel protected. Glyco, we cushion you for life. And once again, if you're a parent, then you always want to see your children grow, very smart, very intelligent, and to ensure that they are always very fit. And you can achieve that by ensuring that your children are enjoying Vitamilk soy milk drink, because it is made from plant protein. It's a good source of plant protein. It's enriched in vitamin 3, what am I saying? It's enriched in omega-3, 6, and 9. It has all the calcium and all the essential nutrients that are needed for your children's daily living. And for 20 years, they have been here. It has no artificial coloring, no flavorings, and no preservatives. So go on and choose the Vitamilk Champ for your children, because the protein, the calcium, omega-3, 6, and 9, and all the other nutrients in there have all proven to let your children grow smarter, stronger, and healthier every day. It comes in its regular soy milk drink. You can also get it in the energy booster with no caffeine, the choco, the banana, the strawberry. And you can buy it in a 250 ml package or 1 liter Tetra Pak. Vitamilk is indeed a nutritious beverage that feels good anywhere, anytime. So me, I have resolved that we need to have a second leg to this conversation, and it's just a simple conversation: how to make it work.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
It must work.
We're game.
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Kofi, I'll give you 1 minute, Ariel, 1 minute to just wrap up, and then we're out of here. But look forward to that conversation: how to make it work.
Sure.
Yes.
I think a decision to leave a relationship must be made prayerfully, tactfully. You have to consider all the options available. Have you tried to make things work? Have you engaged external resource? Tried the intervention of others, whether it's family, counselors, and so on, to come and help? If you have done all of that and you still believe that this relationship is not healthy for you, then you decide accordingly.
All right. Thank you, Ariel, from you.
Yeah, I would say that lots of people need to start seeking professional help when it comes to situations they are trying to navigate that are a bit difficult for them. We should learn how to seek professional support, because I mean, a support from a professional can just take you through some visualization of your future self and how you want your life to feel for you, and that can activate your motivation to start making certain decisions. I think people need to seek professional help.
Great. Thank you. Someone sent a message. He says that when you're broke and your whole survival depends on another person, how dare you want to leave?
You have resources yourself.
Oh, dear Lord.
When even the counselor needs counseling.
Hey,
They haven't found the right person then.
Oh, God. Someone says that, good morning, Edem. Today's topic was meant for me. I'm in a marriage where issues keep recurring and I'm emotionally traumatized. Been thinking of moving out, but my mom keeps saying no place is calm. But Edem, this man keeps hurting me emotionally and rather gets offended when you complain of his behavior. To him, he's always right. Now my next step is to move out without my parents knowing and find my true self again. I need help. Nancy. I'm gonna let Ariel handle this one. I'll take your contact, give it to Ariel, and then she will have time for you. But here's how we are ending Home Affairs today. Thank you all very much for joining. Reverend Kofi Watson Esquire, thank you very much for coming. Ariel, thank you so much. You all have been missed, and the next leg of our conversation is how to make it work. Thank you all so
Thank you
much.
too,
Thank
Edem.
you, Edem. Thank you.